Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading room. It's actually going to be our second Rabbit Hole Friday today. We're going to be looking at ways that you can avoid getting caught in the sideways chop and how you can maybe figure out which signals are going to be better than the other ones. And to that end, I thought that today we would look at the Bollinger Band suite from Indicator Warehouse. And I will show you this particular tool. Let's take a look here. This is the Bollinger Band suite on Ninja 7. Same thing on Ninja 8. The graphics are a little bit different. But a quick overview, what the Bollinger Band suite is, it gives you, it combines Bollingers with some of these very, very powerful indicators. So you can use it with your MACD, Awesome Oscillator, CCI, Rate of Change, Stochastics RSI, True Strength Index, and then a Volume Trend Index. All right, let's take a look at what it looks like and how it works. I'll show it here to you on the Raptor. Let's make it a little bit larger. All right, what it is we have Bollinger Bands displayed here by these red and blue lines, and we also have our default indicator. The way that Bollinger Bands tend to work, or the theory behind using Bollinger Bands, is that Bollinger Bands are based on what is called a standard deviation. A standard deviation is nothing more than kind of the limits from the norm. In that sense, they're similar to using a moving average and then saying, okay, when prices get beyond this point in the average, then they're bullish. When they get below this point in the average, they're bearish. Now, usually we see people put Bollinger Bands on a price chart for that reason. Come on. And the idea doesn't work quite as well with mean Renko bars because mean Renko bars average themselves out. Maybe I should show this to you on a price chart. Okay, so if we take our daily chart, there we go. So when prices start to get above the top end of the Bollinger Band, they're considered bullish, and this should see a lot of buying. When prices get below the bottom end of the Bollinger Band, it's considered bearish, and then prices should continue lower. Now you can see, well, as with most things trading related, it works until it doesn't work. It works just fine through here. It worked just fine through here. Didn't work so well here as prices breached Bollingers. All of a sudden, there's a great big reaction before the next move lower. So they have, Bollinger Bands has its proponents. It's a very powerful trading tool. But as you can see, it's also not without without its problems. Hence the Bollinger Band suite. which takes away some of these problems, especially when you use it in relation to the DTS and Raptor tools. The Raptor tools and the DTS tools have the added benefit of being able to smooth out the data, and that makes a world of difference when you're using your Bollinger Bands. All right, let me explain then how this works. So when prices get outside of the Bollinger Band, you can see the dots change color here, and now they've gone red, and that is a clear indication to sell. When they get on the other side of the Bollinger Band, the dots will turn green. That's a clear indication to buy. So long as prices are within the Bollinger Band, you can see they take on a bit of a pale color, either a pale green or a pale red. That tells you that the market is more neutral. Now, by itself, the Bollinger Band suite is not foolproof, but here's the beauty of it. When you couple it with your Raptor or diversified trading system signals, it's almost foolproof. Almost. So let's review a few signals here on the Raptor, and then we'll go through some of the other tools just so that you can see how this works. Probably your biggest challenge using a tool like this will be developing the patience to wait for the correct signal. It also has the another little perk. You can't see it right here. I can change the arrow colors, but it will also display confirmation arrows on your price chart when your Bollinger Bands become more bullish or when they become bearish. And you can change those colors to make them a little bit more vibrant, make them stand apart from your Raptor or DTS signals. The way I like to use it is as a confirmation tool to tell me which signals are likely to be the strongest, which signals are likely to have some follow through to it. So here, let's roll this over like it's going real time. Okay, so right now the market is sideways, our Bollinger Band is sideways, and now all of a sudden we print a number 3 signal. Now my Bollinger suite hasn't crossed just yet, but it's just about to. So what I could do at this point is I could throw an order in maybe above another high, right? Or look for a second push opportunity. Oops, sorry. They make these things so small now, these arrows so small on Ninja 8, you can't hardly click them. Okay, here we go. Here's our number 3 signal. The next bar, we've got the little blue arrow, which confirms that the Bollinger Band suite is now on board. Now I can look for a reason to get bullish. So I can either look for a second push on the number 3, or because everything is in sync, I can just look to buy. I can just look to buy on the next breach. Oh, it looks like we did get a little second push hesitation here on this bar. But for the most part, you can see that the bar had some, or the signal had some very nice follow through, which was confirmed by the Bollinger Band suite. The Bollinger Band suite will also show you divergence, which, I don't know, did I highlight the divergence? Hold on. Let's just go into the settings here for a second. Okay, so we've got all the different tools that you can use to generate signals. You've got all your different settings that you can use to modify them. We're just going with the standards on most of these right now. I did not enable divergence. Let's enable divergence and let's make that a little bit brighter. There we go. And then you can change the rest of the things graphically to make them a little bit easier to see. And those are pretty much all the settings. So you're just selecting between the type of indicator you want to use and graphically how it's going to look. So now I've turned the divergence on, because as we know, divergence can be a powerful indication that maybe a trend is starting to end. Okay, I don't think it's displaying the right color. We got olive going on. Let's make it a little bit easier to see. And you can tweak your divergence as well. You can display it on the indicator, you can display it on the price chart. Okay, it's not wanting to change the color for whatever reason, but here it is. It's showing you divergence, divergence in the indicator, divergence in price. Okay, so if we roll this over like it's happening in real time, we've got divergence in price, we've got divergence in the indicator. You can see the Bollinger Band suite's already ahead of the curve. It produced or has gotten bearish, and we produced a number 2 signal. So we got divergence suggesting that maybe the trend is in trouble. We've got a bearish Bollinger Band suite, and we've got a number 2 signal. So, you know, it's a clear indication that the market is very likely going to head lower from here. And of course, our target is the hard edge. There now is the signal, and there is our profit target. So, you know, otherwise you would be looking at this signal without the Bollinger Band suite. You'd be looking at that signal and you'd be saying, gee, do I want to short that? No, probably not, because the market is in an uptrend. And yet, it turned out to be a very good short. The Bollinger Band suite, you know, it is probably one of the most powerful add-ons you can do to your Raptor and or DTS system. Here's another indication. I'm sorry, it's very, very faint. I tried to make these lines darker, but here is divergence to the downside, or pardon me, the upside. Prices are heading lower. We're into the hard edge. All of a sudden, the Bollinger Band suite, however, is showing bullish divergence. And lo and behold, here comes a hard edge bounce. Now, it didn't print as a hard edge bounce because the clouds were a little bit out of sync here, but it is a hard edge bounce. The Bollinger Band suite is bullish. How would you know to buy this? Well, you know it's a hard edge bounce. You know it's a high probability signal, but isn't it nice having the Bollinger Band just confirm that for you? And again, a very nice little rally, and it kind of helps you look behind the scenes at those signals that are going to be a little bit more reliable. Note too how often the Bollinger Band suite confirms the high probability signals that we see. Here's another example. Here's a number 3 signal. Okay, if you were looking at this, if you were trading this overnight, okay, you may look at it, you can say, okay, the market's got some reasonable amount of bullishness to it. I'm going to look for a buy opportunity. So we get the number 3 signal. The Bollinger Band suite isn't bullish yet. Oh, now we're bullish. And now we have our second push opportunity to get in on the signal. So we can throw in our buy order above here. Everything has gone bullish for us. And again, very good follow through on the signal. Okay. Just a couple of more, and then I'll take a look at some of the other tools, or pardon me, the other birds. Here, the market. Oh, actually, why don't we go into yesterday's session? Because yesterday we had a whole lot of chop. Yesterday, the market was just going back and forth, giving us all kinds of grief. All right, what did I do now? Oh, no, what did I do? All right. Bear with me here. Build another chart. Yeah. Scott says the computer knows it's Friday. All right, there's my raptor. Okay. All right, we'll just go with this for now. All right. Okay, so this was yesterday's session. A whole lot of back and forth. We did get a little bit of a break, a bullish break here, as you can see. But notice how the Bollinger Band Suite would have actually helped you stay out of a lot of this mess. We're producing a whole lot of signals, right? People always wondering, oh, well, we're producing signals. How do I know which signal to take? Well, here is one way to filter out which signal to take. Okay, the market's going sideways. What we want is we're looking for confirmation. We're looking for the bands, your DTS or Raptor signals to be in sync with what's going on down here. You can see here actually that number one signal did work out, but let me find a couple signals here that were not as cooperative. I know there's got to be some in here somewhere. Oh, sorry, going back too far. Most of these signals here, of course, that number three signal with some very nice follow through. Okay, well, here was oh no, actually that number two signal did confirm. Okay, here's a couple follow-up signals where the market is not in sync with your Bollinger Band. Now everything is in sync, so we would anticipate prices should try to go a little bit higher from there. Oh, And now everything has flipped over. So if you were, let's say you had taken this order, let's say you had taken that order right there, the market went up, didn't hit your profit target. Now all of a sudden everything has gotten bearish, right? The Bollinger Band suite is turning over. Now everything has gotten bearish. Let's say your initial stops were down here. Well, with everything turning bearish, it might be a good time to start rolling your stops up, or depending how aggressive you want to be, this bar got a little bit bullish, you could even cover under that bar. But let's say you even brought your stops up here and the market continues lower and stops you out. Okay, that's fine, you got stopped out, but at least you didn't take the full hit, right? You were able to reduce your risk so that you lost maybe $100. So it's helpful in that respect as well as a trade management tool. I just love it as a confirmation tool. You know, we're always looking at our charts, and if the market is sideways like this, we're never 100% sure of the timing, and so we want to find a tool that will confirm when the market is responding or ready to respond. Here is that number 2 signal. All right, now we know number 2 signals are difficult at best, but here's a number 2 signal. You can see our Bollinger Band has started to turn red. It's no longer green, it's starting to turn red. So this would be an opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to look at maybe doing a second push, which I would probably advise on almost all number 2 signals. And now it's gone inside the Bollinger Band. And so now you can just discard that signal. You know the momentum is no longer there. I find the Bollinger Band suite works really well on signal confirmation. Like here's a number 1 signal that printed. But the band, the Bollinger Band suite is not bearish. We're within the Bollinger Band range. So that, look at what's happening. Sure, we had some follow through, but now all of a sudden we're kind of stuck. And in fact, the Bollinger Band is starting to get a little bit bullish. We may see some divergence end up printing here. All right, I kind of beat it to death there on the Raptor. Let's take a look here at some of the other tools. Let's take a look at it on the Hawk. And the Hawk would be a similar thing. The signals are going to be developing faster here on the Hawk, of course. But we're going to be looking once more for confluence between the signals. So here we have a first micro-macro cross and the Bollinger Band suite triggering at the same time, getting out of that neutral zone, becoming bearish, and just a tremendous amount of follow through on that signal. Look at the subsequent signals though. Now all of a sudden the Bollinger Band suite has gone bullish. All right, well, it's a 4-arrow consolidation. We know that this signal does have a tendency to have some follow through to it, but it would be a lot easier to take that signal if the Bollinger Band suite also confirms it, which it does on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It does on the 4th signal. And then we get that little bit of follow through, find our profit target. Here is first micro macro cross higher. Right, we got the first micro macro cross higher, and we're looking for confirmation, and we have the confirmation right there, and an excellent follow through on the signal. Here we have the sideways chop. How do you make sense of this? well, you avoid it, really. You know it's sideways, and that's kind of confirmed with what's going on here. We're going back and forth, back and forth. Here is a green bar sell. Not usually the strongest looking signal, and yet all of a sudden it gets confirmed on the Bollinger Band suite, and we get a little bit of sideways traffic. We did hit our profit target, but again, let's take a look here. Let's say we're short from here. We have our stops up here. We're short, and now all of a sudden the Bollinger Band suite starts to get neutral. Okay, well, let's bring our stops in. And then the market continues lower. But we had that opportunity to improve our timing via the Bollinger Band suite. All right, let's take a look at the Falcon. Now there's, I should mention there's similar tools to the Bollinger Band suite. I know Mark uses one that's very similar. He didn't get it from Indicator Warehouse, but there's, like I said, there's variants of this out there. And I know he uses it as a confirmation tool on his signals, his late filter entries, his trend change signals. He likes for it to be in sync with the signal. And you can see that here you could actually see the market pressures were becoming more bearish. And when the signal finally came, your trend change signal, look at the follow through on that. Likewise here, the market pressures are already bullish, and now we're getting the price, trying to get the price to come into line with that, but it didn't quite. Here, the market very, very sideways, a lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth. Here we get our trend change signal, and we get the confirmation that, yes, the market pressure does seem to be more bullish. And there we go, a nice little rally higher. Here is, you can just go through your chart time and again and take a look. Here is a trend change signal after a very, very strong uptrend. This is not normally a signal I would put stock in. And yet, you can see that the market pressures have fallen dramatically since making this top. And there you go, a decent move lower. So it's almost like having your finger on the pulse of the market. We'll just take a look here at the eagle now. It's the kind of indicator that works across the board. I find with the eagle, sometimes these follow-up signals are kind of tricky to get a hold of. But it's a little bit, the hard edge bounces are easy enough. The red bar buys, the hard edge bounces, those are easy enough. But when we get these follow-up signals, things can get a little bit more difficult. So I missed a few bars here, but even having the confirmation come from the Bollinger Band suite that everything is going to remain bullish allows you, even if you get in a little bit late, still allows you to take advantage of a crazy move. Here is an example of a follow-up signal you would want to avoid. Because all of a sudden the Bollinger Band suite is not in sync. Here is a green bar sell off of the hard edge that gets its confirmation that now the market is ready to resume its bearish momentum, because now we've fallen outside of the range of the Bollinger Bands. And you can see we had very nice progression lower. I really, really like this tool. I like it so much that I'm probably going to leave it on my charts for a while. So if you're wondering, which signals are going to be higher probability, well, we have our high probability signals to choose from, to be sure. But if you just want that little extra insight, the Bollinger Band Suite is a great way to go. Now, I will put a discount code in the window here for you guys. If you are interested in it, if you type that code into the window, where's my Bollinger Band Suite? Here we go. And you can learn more about, you'll see me in this video use it on just a regular time-based chart. But if you choose to pick it up at the discount, or when it asks for a promotion code, if you type in that promotion code, it will get you a 10% discount on the Bollinger Band Suite. All right, let's take the remainder of the session. We'll just trade a little bit here, and then maybe you can see how it works, or how I would use it real time. But I think, you would find it as just a great filter. Okay, it looks like this morning, and if anybody has any questions, it doesn't have to be about the Bollinger Band Suite. It can be about anything. It can be about your signals. It can be about another indicator that you're interested in, anything like that. Feel free to ask. Just kind of reviewing what was going on here. Pre-market, big rally up, and then out of the open, they tank. Wow. That's a little crazy. Got a lot of waffling back and forth here. Oh yeah, reminder, no trading room on Monday. It is President's Day on Monday. Yeah, like Mark says here, you guys are a big proponent. I always tell you, don't put anything on your chart that doesn't help you make a decision. And Mark reiterates that. He says, certainly a tool that helps in making a decision is worth having on your charts. And that's really what it amounts to. Because look, we're hitting these periods of sideways trading. And I've shown you in the trading room how you deal with it. Right? We're going to wait for a breakout. We're going to look for a retest. But at the same time, it's kind of helpful having that confirmation, isn't it? So here, the Bollinger Band Suite now has gotten bearish. What if I put my just in case order to short down here in anticipation of a bearish break? We don't have the breakout yet, do we? I could kind of be ahead of the curve a little. And notice I'm not just blindly buying or selling because the Bollinger Band Suite has printed a bullish or bearish arrow. I still need to trade what's going on here on the chart. Everything's kind of dried up here. So a holiday Monday, President's Day, I don't know, what is that? Is that Donald Trump's birthday? Sorry. Soon to be renamed Trump Day. Do you have turkey on President's Day? Sorry, I'll stop now with the bad jokes. Politicians are the same. It doesn't matter where in the world you look. They're all the same. Yeah, Mark says, don't give them any big ideas. All right. Here Scott sharing the CME calendar. I put that in the chat window. Okay, so here and now we got the number one signal on the Raptor, and we've got the confirmation down below in the Bollinger Band suite. So hopefully we'll see a little bit of follow through on that. Okay, we're short. Let me I'll manage it here from the Raptor. So let me get my stop order in play. And, oh, I did not load my support and resistance suite. So where's the next? Very bullish, my goodness, we're all here in the green zone. So market tendency is actually a little bit more bullish right now. And as I was saying before, okay, we got short, but now everything's getting a little bit more bullish. So I'm going to start to consider bringing my stops in now. I'll roll my stops up some. Come on. Looks like traders got busy early. Everybody's doing their paperwork now, trying to get out of the office. Oh, things getting more bullish again. All right, so maybe I will bring my stops in a little bit closer still. These yellow dots here show when your Bollinger Bands are crossing over the zero line, so technically becoming more bullish or bearish. All right, I jumped the gun a little bit on that one, but at least I was able to manage my trade probably a little bit more effectively. We'll see how it plays out. Now that we've had the bearish break and we can see where the market reacts, of course, we can throw our short order below there. If I get another bear bar here, well, maybe I was just a little bit too quick with my stops. Okay, so I got another bear bar. Now I can throw a buy order above here. No other signals just yet. All right, well, we're getting some bullish follow through, it looks like. They keep getting up there, but then pulling away. Okay, so here we get a number 3 signal, and let me enlarge this so you can see it. We get a number 3 signal, and we're bearish again. We've got the first micro macro cross lower, or the warning dot anyway. And no, the Falcon's still waffling here a little bit. I'll throw my profit order back down here. And once again, looks like the internal market pressure, if you will, has gotten a little bit flat, a little bit neutral. $70.40, $70.50, both very popular numbers the last couple of days. All right, we're getting a little bit bullish. We got I wouldn't really call it a rule of 3, although technically I suppose it is. We have too many tests of the extreme. Okay, so we're bullish there. And we've got the possible green bar sell on the hawk that we can look to buy a break above. You're going to have to get busy though. All right, and just in time now with the trend change signal. Well, that would be quite the move. Let's throw a profit order in up here. Ah, nuts. Now everything's starting to fade again. Doggone it. Friday before a holiday weekend. What can I tell you? Yeah, I wonder, Scott's saying, wonder if we'll see another Friday long. Scott's theory that Fridays tend to be more bullish than bearish. Oop, sorry. Wrong screen. I don't think I don't think there's any reports out today. Scott says price has been crammed between two small FEB levels for the last 30 minutes. Yeah, we should take a look at Fibonacci's one day on a Friday. All right, here we go. Come on, let's get that follow through. Everything's still, moderately bullish. Oh, see, the market was just waiting for Scott to speak up. All right, let's throw that break even in there. I'm just going to be a little bit more aggressive here with my stops. I suppose I could use the Bollinger Band suite as well to maybe manage the trade a little bit more efficiently. But I have a feeling if it starts to turn from here, it's also going to drift. Yeah, see, there you go. I got a red dot now, suggesting a little bit of bearishness coming in. Come on, giddy up. Scott says, I'm curious about the 740 time window. That's when the huge drop out of nowhere happened yesterday. Yeah, I know. It's funny. You try to rationalize what the market does, and a lot of times there is no rationale behind it. The market will do what the market will do. If there's buyers, it will go up. If there's sellers, it will go down. If there's if the market catches a little whiff of something, makes it afraid, well, then it's going to drop, obviously. I've given up a long time ago trying to figure out why the market does stuff. I just try to get in line with what it is doing. Yeah, Mark says it was supposedly a reaction to the negative news on China trade negotiations. There you go. The news people will link something to it. That's their job, of course. And don't get me wrong, there are cause and effect relationships in the market, but trying to follow all that sort of stuff, the fundamentals of the market, is I find a very daunting task. You really have to become an expert in your marketplace, especially if you're trading the physicals, things like corn, wheat, soybeans, oats, live cattle. You really have to know your market. Well, looks like we may have gotten on to a decent little rally here. Oh, a little more hesitation. Now we're actually into the Bollinger Bands. And now we got tagged out a little bit short of my profit target. Anyways, I would have probably rolled my stop down below this bar right here. We'll see whether that was a little bit too aggressive or not. Still, not a bad trade. Well, not a bad trade. It was a good trade. What are you talking about, Eric? And something, we could take with perhaps a little bit more confidence. We saw it coming. Our tools confirmed what was happening, what we were looking at. Made it a little bit easier to get in on that trade. Mark sharing a comment here. He says, I've been looking at the EMD the past few days. That's the mid cap, the S&P 400. He says, I'm taking late filter entries. That would be your signal on the Falcon. And he says, I'm trading a 7-tick bar. So he's reduced the bar size a little bit, make it a little bit more responsive. Adding a little bonus to the week. Well done. The mid cap is a good tool. I know when Tony was in the room, let's see if Tony's in the room here today. He can share. No, don't see Tony in the room today. Poor Tony has not been well. But that was one of his favorites. The nice thing about the mid cap is it's a nice trending market. When it settles in, it likes to keep going. It likes to trend. Okay, here we have now a number 2 signal on the Raptor, the Bollinger Bands bearish. I don't have the divergence set, but I can see here that there is some divergence. So price is going this way, the indicator going that way. Good opportunity for a second push on that number 2 signal. The band, not exactly overbought territory, but given the reluctance of the market here, kind of the slow pace that we're seeing, might be a doable trade. So far, the Raptor, the only one that produced that signal. And now we've turned neutral once again. Oh, just ever so slightly neutral as we sneak up now to the profit target. And I was maybe a touch fast on the stops, but you know what? I didn't leave all that much on the table. I can't say I'm disappointed with how that trade worked out. Might get a pushback off of the that resistance zone now at the 70.65 half zone. Not quite there, but close. All right, I can see we're getting a little bit more divergence. Once again, prices going up, the indicator going down. I could treat it as a very, very big second push here on the number 2 signal. The Bollinger Band sweep getting a little bit bearish again. The band still not overly broad. All right, but things getting a little bit bearish. All right, let's take a look here. Oh, I don't have my trade calculator. We'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm anticipating a number 2 signal now. And like I said, the safer entry would be below here. So I'm looking at some bearishness maybe creeping into the market. Well, we don't have any other signals in line with that just yet. In fact, the hawk getting bullish now, as is the falcon. Falcon getting a little bit more bullish perhaps. All right, here we go. This is going to be the confirmation now of the retest. The next signal that comes our way should be a number 2 signal to short. don't think I'd make this trade work too hard. Anything back around the 70-50 zone. Oh, Dan says there was a late filter entry signal that was struggling. Let's take a look here. Yeah, the trend line out of sync here just for one bar, which I would not pay too much attention to. But yeah, you're right. Here's a late filter entry signal. Hasn't quite made its target. Oh, sorry. Here's another late filter entry signal right here. Maybe that's the one you were referring to. This is a nice, clean late filter entry, although I do believe that may have hit its profit objective. If not, it's gotten very close. For those of you who are familiar with Bollinger Bands, you know that when your Bollinger Bands become very narrow, they call it a Bollinger Band squeeze. And it's called a squeeze because the market's going to have a tendency to break from here. Likewise, when your Bollinger Bands become very broad, the market tends to become overbought or oversold when they become very broad. But Bollinger Band traders sit up and take notice when the bands get very, very tight, looking for that squeeze and breakout. Okay, here we now have the trend change signal. And, oh, actually, I won't use the trade calculator for this. So we can squeeze this trade as well. We can throw in a buy order now above here. Where's the next target? Ooh, way up here. I don't know if the market has that much in it, but there you go. Okay, now the Falcon. See, the market pressures, anyways, have gotten bearish again, or neutral anyway. Hey, way to go, Scott. Scott taking a few dollars out of the market here. He says he took the Yandel signal, one of Mark's signals. I don't know if that was the late filter that you're referring to, but I think it did sneak up there to at least its first profit objective. We're certainly struggling. Look at how it's holding that resistance line. That's wild. I think it's, the holiday weekend market. I don't think we're going to see any major breaks. You're going to get these little fake breaks, maybe make a couple of ticks. Of course, now that I've said that, watch the market explode. Scott's watching his clock. Okay, he says we're coming up on 7:40. Let's see a big jump. Yeah, yesterday the market, the bottom just fell out of it. Caught me on the wrong side. I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my profit order here a little bit, just until we actually get filled. Producing a few late filter entry signals now, but we're still just stuck right on that resistance zone. Scott, I'm with you. Scott says, yesterday I was riding it long and was looking at my biggest win ever, and it rocketed down to my covers. So sad. Yeah, it caught a few people by surprise. You could tell just by the follow through. I was okay. We got the bullish confirmation. I was actually just going to move my entry order a little bit further away. I have a feeling they're just not into it today. Come on, let's go. You know you want to. The high today is 70.95. That must have been in the overnight because I don't think we've traded that high. So I'd be looking, with this profit target, I'd be looking for the market to recover to the overnight highs, which would be a monster move. I guess I'll roll my stops up a little bit. Okay, it's 740. Let's go, market. Yeah, good question here. Dan's asking, speaking of highs and lows, what happened to that indicator that used to show the highs and lows on Ninja 7? That was the initial balance line indicator. Let's see. That's this bad boy right here. And it is available for Ninja 8. I haven't put it on my charts yet. But you know what, folks? That discount code that I put in the window earlier, which I will put in the window again, will extend it to that indicator as well. So I'll make a note just after the room. Uh-oh, Keith says, caution, Trump is beginning to speak. I gotta develop that Trump Twitter indicator. Yes, Scott says, cover your trade quick. All right, maybe we'll protect a few more dollars here. Yeah, Mark says, back away from your mouse, keep your hands in the air. We have hit our high probability profit objective already. You can see we're past that. So, there's a fair amount of moolah on the table. Oh, see, there you go. What's he said now? Darn it. Darn it. I should have punched out. Should have just grabbed the profit while I had it. All right, folks. Oh, Mark says, here we go with the national emergency thing and the markets taking cover. All right, gang, we're going to close up shop here a few minutes early. My webmaster just flagged me that there's something that needs my attention. Have yourselves a wonderful holiday weekend, and I will see you again on Tuesday. If you are interested in the Bollinger Band suite or in the initial balance lines, that code I gave you will be good. We'll extend it for a week, so until next Friday. So you got the weekend to look it over and play with it, and maybe save a couple of dollars if you choose to pick it up. I think I'm going to keep it on my charts, at least here for a little while. I really like the way it works. All right, I will see you on Tuesday. Talk to you then. Bye for now.